In the NBA's 51st season, Canada is beginning its second. Tonight, we are on downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, inside what the locals call the Garage, General Motors Place, where about 17,000 are expected to watch a couple of NBA teams looking for their first NBA victories after rough openers, the Golden State Warriors and the Vancouver Grizzlies. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to an evening of Warriors basketball on Sports Channel with Jim Barnett. I'm Greg Papa. Did not take Dave Twardzik, the Warrior GM, very long after a humbling and disappointing loss to the Clippers in the opener on Friday, Jim. 8 hours later, he pulls off the big trade with Orlando, sending disgruntled centers Ronnie Cyclé, Cliff Rozier, and a round 2 pick to get Felton Spencer and Donald Royal. We'll talk about each of the new Warriors now, starting with Spencer. This was the key guy. The Warriors had to get a center back when they traded Ronnie Cyclé.
And when you get Felton Spencer, if not spectacular, you know he's going to be consistent. He has been throughout his entire NBA career. Not a big-time scorer at the low block, but he can rebound. Actually, a better rebounder per minute than Ronnie Cyclé. He's a guy that can put a big 7-foot, 255-pound body on the opposition at the center position. He's a good defender inside, not a great runner of the floor, but yes, he will come to work every night. Now, Donald Royal, I like this guy because he's a good guy to come off the bench. A small forward, not afraid to come in, bring a little energy to the game. He can shoot the ball, he can score. He's a guy that's not afraid to play at any position there. The two are the three.
Now, even though Cyclé and Rozier have each joined the Magic and passed their physicals, neither Spencer nor Royal could make it to Western Canada from Central Florida in time to play this game tonight. That, along with the fact that Joe Smith is not even here. Joe re-aggravated a very bad ankle sprain Friday night in the season opener against the Clippers. So the Warriors only have 8 guys available, Jim. Ordinarily not a problem, but when you only have 3 forwards and 1 center to play with, it could be a problem tonight.
Well, for the most part, the guys are in good shape. I don't think you're concerned about minutes, but you are concerned about foul trouble. The front line simply has to stay out of foul trouble tonight.
Like the Warriors, the Vancouver Grizzlies were blasted in their season opener on their home floor here on Friday night at the hands of the Portland Trail Blazers. Despite the lopsided loss, a very good debut for Shareef Abdur-Rahim, the number 3 pick out of the University of Cal Berkeley, Jim. They think he might be their first true superstar. They liked Bryant Reeves last year, but this guy can really play.
I really like this young man. They could have had Marcus Camby at the number 2 spot, who went number 2. I think they made the right choice. He's athletic. He's a guy that can put the ball on the floor. He's not a great shooter at this point from the outside in the perimeter, but he can score inside. He understands the game. He's going to be a nice complement to big Bryant Country Reeves in the middle. He's going to be a star in this league for years to come.
Abdur-Rahim is going to start at small forward, giving us a juicy matchup there between Chris Mullin and Shareef. Should be fun. We'll come back in a couple of moments with the lineups and the tip, but for now, after this break, we're going to head back to our studios and check in for the first time tonight with Brian Weber.
Golden State Warriors basketball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Chrysler. Take a test drive at your Northern California Chrysler Plymouth dealers today. By Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By the Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. By the California Lottery. Is it you? Is it me? Who's next? By your local Ford dealer. See your local Ford dealer today and prepare to be impressed. By Supercut. For a great haircut, Supercut every time. And by the new Dodge, California's truck stop.
With Jim Barnett, Greg Papa back in Western Canada, inside General Motors Place, the home of not only the Vancouver Grizzlies, but also the NHL's Vancouver Canucks, right smack in the middle of downtown. Here's the way Brian Winters will start, the second-year head coach of the Grizzlies. Shareef Abdur-Rahim at small forward, with Eric Mobley at power forward. In the backcourt, Greg Anthony at point guard with the former Laker Anthony Peeler. Starting at big guard in the middle, it will be Brian Big Country Reeves, who had a very good rookie year last year, Jim, winding up an all-rookie second-teamer. But he was not very good on opening night, as he still is bothered by a preseason injury. He has a very bad hamstring.
Yes, and he is also out of shape, I was informed, so he may see limited action. Remember last year, they traded Benoit Benjamin, and that's when Bryant Reeves really came of age. He gave them some great point production after that, nearly 16 points a game and around 8 rebounds per contest. So he's their center for the future. He's not athletic like Sharif Abdur-Rahim, but they're a nice compliment.
They may get the ball inside to Reeves quite a bit tonight, Jim, to get Todd Fuller in foul trouble. The Warriors only have 8 healthy guys. Ray Owes, in his second NBA game, will make the start. He played off the bench on Friday night for Rick Adelman, did pretty well in 15 minutes of playing time. Young man who last year played in Australia and was the surprise of the training camp, was brought in as one of 8 guys simply to give the Warriors some competition during training camp, and here he is in a starting role in the NBA.
You know, 6-8 weeks ago, he's playing basketball in Australia, never thinking of making an NBA roster. And he made it clear, if he did not make this roster, this would be his last chance at the NBA. Well, he's made this roster, and he's got a great opportunity because of certain circumstances with the Warriors now to really show he belongs and can stay in the NBA.
Obviously, Rick Adelman, in light of the poor showing in the opener against the Clippers on Friday night, is concerned about this game, and he's also disappointed that Felton Spencer and Donald Royal are not here. The Warriors flew up their team orthopedist from the Bay Area, Mickey Krinsky, to give them both physicals, hoping to get them to play in the ballgame tonight, Jim. But in defense of both Spencer and Royal, it is a long way to go from Central Florida all the way to Western Canada. That involves maybe 1 or 2 plane changes, so they just simply could not get here. But when you look at the Warriors' schedule the next couple of weeks, really throughout the rest of the month of November, this is one basketball game they need to win, because they may not win very many the rest of the month.
It's critical to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. This is a team, and there's your head coach, Brian Winters, in his second year. Remember, they only won 15 games last year. They had streaks where they lost 19 in a row. They set a single season record for most consecutive losses, 23, but he's brought the team through that, and he held them together, and he's always a positive guy.
Looks like a new hairstyle for the coach tonight. Normally he parts his hair right down the middle, but now he's taking it off to the side, hoping to maybe change his luck as his team was blasted by the Blazers in their opener on Friday. Todd Fuller was overall pleased with his performance in his opener, 8 points and 5 rebounds in 28 minutes of play. He said he needs to play smart tonight. He knows the Grizzlies will attack him. He's the only center on the Warrior roster. The Grizzlies go first. Oakes, Jones, and Corbett are 3-man officiating crew. Here is Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Has not been a very effective outside shooter for the Grizzlies throughout the preseason, about 32%, and he was only 6 of 14 in their opener on Friday. They double Price, and they get the ball back, but then throw it away. Peeler swiped by Sprewell. Ball bobbled out of bounds. It is off of Abdur-Rahim. The Warriors will keep it.
What the Warriors have to be cautious about is trying to do too much too soon. I thought in the home opener they tried to force the action, and Sprewell did it right there. He took the ball to trouble with 2 defenders.
Anthony Peeler goes to sleep momentarily, allowing Sprewell a wide open jumper, but he missed. Outlet pass. Anthony scores an easy one.
And you just said someone went to sleep. They sure did in defensive coverage.
Here's Rayos matched up with Eric Mobley. They switch now. Mullen over Abdur-Rahim. Mullen and Abdur-Rahim do know each other, of course, from the Bay Area, as Chris would go over to Harmon Gym and work out with Cal, and he has played him, and he said he's a better perimeter player than people give him credit for. And there you go. Nice dribble to blow by Mullen, and he lost it around the rim. Sprewell. That's an offensive foul called by Phil Oakes, saying Latrell pushed off against Big Country Reeves.
I didn't quite see it. I know Sprewell thought he could beat him with his quickness. He just wanted to get some contact. He wasn't worried about a shot block.
You make the point that Sprewell was guilty of forcing something that may not have been there, but he was not guilty of a foul. We are 90 seconds into this one. They double on Big Country Reeves, steps right through it. Rebound bobbled by Rayos, but it is controlled by the Warriors. Price. He had a good opener with 19 points, pops a 3 to give the Warriors a 5-2 lead.
He might have had a good opener, but he can play even better. We've yet to see how he can round into form. He's still feeling his way here.
Warriors beat the Grizzlies all 4 times they matched up last year. Anthony Peeler was a Los Angeles Laker last season. The Grizzlies have taken away a couple of Lakers and 1 member of the Houston Rockets, Pete Chilcutt, Jim, as those 2 championship caliber teams cleared their roster to add both Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley.
Well, you see why Peeler is out there. They were very poor from the perimeter last year, and Vancouver brought in a shooter who shot 41% from 3-point range, Anthony Peeler from the Lakers. That was a terrific trade.
Fuller to Sprewell. He has Mullen. But Sprewell will go by himself to score, and he gives the Warriors a lead of 7-4. Sprewell lit up Vancouver last year. In fact, he scored 103 points against them, the most of any Grizzly opponent. A 4-game scoring average of almost 26 a game. Long one by Feeler. There you go, Jim.
Yeah, he's a nice compliment to Greg Anthony, who was a viable candidate for the most improved player. Anthony put up great numbers last year. How about this? On a team that only shot 43%, he had 7 assists per game.
Another offensive foul. This one's on Rayos. It is going to be imperative that Rayos and Todd Fuller stay out of foul trouble. The Warriors only have 3 guys available off the bench. 2 are guards. The only front court player they have available is Daniel Marshall, who did not even play in the season opener.
Well, Mullen lost his man, but they failed to get it inside.
Mullen right back the other way. Grizzlies lead 9-7. A Price 3 gives the Warriors the lead. His second three-pointer of the game.
You see, Mullen didn't force it, didn't have anything, and all the defenders came right back into the paint. Price went to the right spot. They work well together.
Abdul Rahim again beats Mullen off the dribble, but Fuller helps inside. Sprewell finds an open Price for a third three-pointer. His first miss. Rebound to Greg Anthony.
Pass wasn't quite in the right place. I think that's why Mark did not connect.
Greg Anthony led the Grizzlies in scoring last year. Not likely to duplicate that this year with people like Peeler and Abdul Rahim. Rayos had it batted away, but it does go over to Todd Fuller. We are 4 minutes into it. Mullen, nice play, reverse layup and a goal save on Eric Mobley. Nice play by Mullen.
Well, the Warriors have been successful getting out and running. Pushing it up the floor. Mullen cuts the angle and goes reverse.
Mark Price and Greg Anthony know each other well from their Eastern Conference battles. Reeves gets good low position in the fade. Reeves off to a slow start, doing a lot of standing so far in the game. He is 0 for 2 from the floor. He shot miserably in their opening loss to Portland, 4 of 15. Sprewell draws a block here. It is called on Big Country Reeves. Player substitution coming up for Brian Winters. Blue Edwards, who started all 82 games last year for Vancouver, but now playing as a 6th man, comes in for Eric Mobley. Great numbers for Sprewell. The 13 rebounds tied a career high, Jim, and 10 of those were on the defensive boards. He was the lone bright light in an otherwise dim performance.
Well, I really liked what he did in the second half, because the whole team started to falter and he just took it upon himself to try to keep him in the game, and he single-handedly did that for some time. Now, Brian Winters made a nice move here, because the Warriors are pushing the ball up the floor and Vancouver's not getting back. He's gone smaller. Great shot blocker, Mobley, when you're playing half court, but now he's brought in a smaller player in Blue Edwards for transition defense.
And what that does, it'll move Abdul Rahim to power forward, and Blue Edwards will play small forward. So Mullen matches up with Blue, and now O's guards Abdul Rahim. And at this stage in his career, Sharif may be better at power forward with the great back to the bucket moves he had. That was a good-looking jump hook that rolled out for him.
Yeah, he'll beat a lot of people with quickness, but I think Rayos can match his quickness tonight.
Warriors lead 13-9. Sprewell against Greg Anthony is triple team. Price is open, but not for long. Blue Edwards fired out. Rebound jumped over Mullen, and they're going to give the ball to Vancouver here. Vancouver's gone cold. They have missed their last 6 shots. Not a big surprise. That is the major Achilles heel for Brian Winters' club. Good start for the Warriors here. We're about 5 minutes into it, and they lead the Grizzlies 13-9.
Warriors with a 4-point lead here early in the first quarter. Now watch this seal on the defensive end. We know rebounding has to be important tonight, and the Warriors are doing a pretty good job at the defensive end. The Vancouver Grizzlies aren't cold. Now, if you can stop it right here, look at this lane right over here. Mullen knows that's the spot where you can get the ball. Mark Price is going to find him. just dishes it over. Mullen takes it all the way, reverse layup. Goaltending call. The Warriors are doing fast break basketball to perfection right now.
Abdur Rahim has missed 4 of his first 5 shots from the floor here, matching up with the defense of Latrell Sprewell. Knocks down his only made. He has 2 points and 3 rebounds. And on that play you telestrated, Jim, it was quite evident that Bryant Reeves did not get back well defensively. He is not in shape, they said. Let's see how he handles the double team here over to Blue Edwards. Anthony. That's a good play for Vancouver. A wide open shot. They camouflage by going into Reeves to bait the double team.
Well, last year probably went into Reeves and never came out. He was a black hole at times, but now you've got some other options. You've got Peeler, you've got Abdur Rahim.
Shot clock down to 8. Mark Price, ball tipped out of bounds. It will be the Warriors' ball still with a shot clock at 6.
Now, when Mark Price comes into the middle with a little penetration off the dribble, you better keep your hands up because the ball can come flying to you.
Rayos with a left hand scores his first 2 of the game. Warriors leading by a score of 15-11. The Warriors have hit 6 of their first 10. Vancouver only 5 of 14. Anthony Peeler with the miss. Look at that rebound by Abdur Rahim. And he really has a desire to go get the ball.
He's got a nose for the ball already. The long arms, great timing. He's very comfortable around the basket.
He has 6 points now and 4 rebounds. Todd Fuller loses Reeves inside. Nice look by Sprewell. You can see Reeves laboring to get up and down the floor. I'm not sure if it's the hamstring injury, Jim, or the fact that he's just out of shape right now.
Oh, they set a nice back screen for him and just cleared aside, and he was all alone in the hoop.
Anthony Peeler missing the 3. Rebound O's tips over to Mark Price. Muller wide open. Warriors lead at 19-13.
What a difference when you can rebound the ball. What options it gives you at the other end.
Warriors doubling Reeves immediately upon catch, leaving open Blue Edwards for 3. And he missed that one very badly. Rebound to Price. This is Mark Price's first ever game inside General Motors Place. Never got here in his brief time last year with the Washington Bullets. Reeves with the air ball. And Blue Edwards travels. He went up and down the rebound. Bryant Reeves really struggling tonight.
And Fuller's done a nice job on him.
Blue Edwards not real happy with his roll off the bench. He would like to be a starter. And also he blasted his teammates this morning in the Vancouver Sun, saying they all had their own separate agendas and they were not working well as a team. Reeves tips the pass away and steals. George Lynch is now into the game for the Grizzlies, the former Laker. Here's a miss, but a couple of free throws will be coming. Warriors a 12-4 run to open up this 6-point advantage. Daniel Marshall did not get into the season opener, but he obviously will be asked to play tonight. Warriors only have 3 players off the bench available to take out Ray O's. O's played well with a couple of points at 8 minutes of play in the starting role. Edwards misses the first free throw. Warriors are back home for the Portland Trailblazers on Tuesday night. Join us at 7:30 for the game against Arvydas Sabonis and the new Blazers. And afterwards, Brian Weber will have the Sports Channel report. Portland defeated Vancouver here on Friday night in the Grizzlies season opener, 114-85. It was a tight game. Vancouver down only 3 at halftime, but they were demoralized in the second half. Fuller gets the foul on Bryant Reeves. Does not get the role he wanted, but he will be on the line for a pair.
Well, this was a nice move, and this could be a move that Fuller could come to rely upon. He just holds the defense and freezes him by the near pass and makes a nice quick move into the middle for a sweeping hook shot that had a chance to go down.
That is Bryant Reeves' second foul of the game. Eric Mobley is going to come back in, but now he'll play center rather than power forward where he started the game. So the strategy backfires on Vancouver. They wanted to get Fuller in foul trouble, but Todd so far has played foul-free in the first 9 minutes of the game.
Turnover,
Right.
and yeah, and Brian Winters just because it wasn't a forced turnover. These things are so exasperating for a young coach with a young team.
3.5 to play in this opening quarter. Warriors with a 7-point advantage. Marshall a little too hard for Fuller. Todd trying to save, cannot do it, and he winds up spilling over the first row. Is he all right? Yep. How about the fans? Are they all right?
Now, a moment ago, there's a pass to the sideline.
Right to Rex Hughes, the assistant coach.
But I like this one. I like this one because Todd Fuller, it's amazing. He didn't get hurt, didn't hurt anybody, and they didn't spill any beverages.
Shot clock down to 4. Anthony has to get it going here. Blue Edwards, a desperation 3. He has missed 2 ugly ones. Rebound pulled by Fuller.
That's his 4th.
Little push here on Blue Edwards against Mark Price. Timeout called by the Warriors. 9 minutes gone. Warriors lead the Grizzlies by a score of 21-14. Warriors have 2 home games coming up this week. Tuesday against Portland, Thursday against the Knickerbockers. The first 15,000 fans into the San Jose Arena on Tuesday night will receive a 96-97 magnetic schedule courtesy of GTE MobileNet. And the first 15,000 through on Thursday night will pick up the second of 3 commemorative pins celebrating the Warriors' 50th year anniversary. Both of those items brought to you by the San Francisco Examiner. Rayo's working up a lather here. Young man really impressed the Warriors throughout training camp and actually beat out Marcus Mann for one of the last roster spots. Marcus went originally on the injured list, but then the Warriors got the news a day or 2 before the year that he was going to go back home, and he had lost his desire to play. So essentially Marcus Mann is retired from the NBA. Jim, the Warriors temporarily have put him on the suspended list.
Well, I'm just really surprised by that. Here's the guy that was the 40th overall pick. He led the nation in rebounding last year, albeit a small school, Mississippi Valley State, but I'd heard rumors this summer that he just didn't have that old fire and desire that he used to have, and he was a little overwhelmed, to say the least, at this level. But I still think he should have stuck with it.
Also a pretty good gospel singer. He may go into that, but temporarily now he's going to become a school teacher. B.J. Armstrong is in for the Warriors. Out to Sprewell for a 3-pointer. Daniel Marshall, good rebound, goes up and scores on Abdul Rahim, and that draws applause from Rick Adelman. Nice play by Daniel.
Well, he's got long arms, and here's a guy that can score in a hurry when things are going in the flow for him, Daniel Marshall. He's got some opportunities now coming up.
He's matching up with Abdul Rahim here. Mobley misses the dunk, and I believe we're going to have an offensive goaltender, a foul, loose ball foul on Mobley. Well, the ball goes back over to the Warriors. Really in body build, as far as height and the long arms, and also style of play, Daniel Marshall is somewhat similar to a guy like Abdul Rahim.
You know, I could kind of read your mind when you were going to say that. Yes, they are. Both with very long arms. Daniel probably is a better outside shooter at this juncture than Abdul Rahim.
Daniel is not the defender Abdul Rahim is. Very active on this sequence, but Daniel sticks a jumper with Sharif holding a hand right in his face. Daniel Marshall playing very well, has 4 points off the bench here. The Warriors have opened up a lead of 11 points. Abdul Rahim is spilled as he misses, having a hard time finishing the night. Sprewell with no problem on this end. An explosive set down.
A good rebound by Marshall and a better outlet pass from him to Sprewell. I mean, he looked like a long jumper in the Olympics on that move.
Technical foul on Brian Winters. David Jones, the referee, right on Winters. Winters is balking at the last sequence involving Abdul Rahim when he was not given a foul on this drive.
Well, it's clear that Fuller held his position. Marshall with the rebound, the outlet pass, but watch this finish. Long and high. I remember Sprewell having a tremendous night here last year, and it was at that end of the court, too, where he did most of his damage.
Dunk after dunk after dunk. B.J. Armstrong makes the technical. Sprewell was a very good long and triple jumper at Washington High School. in Milwaukee. Brian Winters, the former Buck, still muttering to himself after Sprewell finishes the set down. Speaking of Milwaukee, former Buck Lee Mayberry is now in playing at point guard. Also Mobley with the ball, a former Buck, and so is Blue Edwards, a former Buck. That's what we have here, Jim. A three-pointer by Blue Edwards. And Vancouver needed that one.
They got rid of a Buck, too, Eric Murdoch, and replaced him with Mayberry.
Here's a three-pointer by Bimbo Coles, put back in by Daniel Marshall. Daniel having a very good late first quarter. He has scored 6 points in 3 minutes. Warriors up 30-17. 50 seconds to play in the quarter. Here's George Lynch, former Laker. Long three by Lee Mayberry. They got Lee Mayberry in late July, signing him as a free agent.
They made some nice trades. I think Stu Jackson, the general manager here, has done a magnificent job in the offseason getting Lynch and Peeler from L.A.
They left Sprewell all by himself. And here's a foul inside as they're forced to wrap up Todd Fuller. Foul on Eric Mobley. Vancouver, a pretty good defensive team last year, Jim. Their problems really lied on the offensive end, but tonight they have just lapsed defensively at times, and they've left several Warriors not only open, but, you know, open by 10 or 15 feet.
Well, we talk about the Warriors and their lack of production last year from the offensive end at 101.5 points a game. How about Vancouver? They did not score 90 points a game. They gave up nearly 100. But, you know, it's not unusual for expansion teams to be poor defensively. One of the big reasons is you get players who maybe were not first-line players. They come to a new team and they're trying to make something for themselves, and so they think they have to do it offensively. They don't have the team concept nearly as well as an established club.
That foul on Mobley, his second, so he's out. They bring in their second first-round draft pick, number 22 overall out of Alabama, Roy Rogers. This guy is a real leaper and shot blocker.
And defender.
Abdul Rahim hangs with it, but having a hard time scoring around the bucket. No call either way here. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. B.J. Armstrong to Sprewell. Sprewell's got to go on Rogers. No, he finds B.J. for a two-pointer. And that is a fitting end to a Warrior-dominated first quarter. The Warriors shoot 62% to Vancouver's 32%. And at the end of 12 minutes of play, they lead Vancouver 33-20. Well, Sharif Abdur-Rahim and Big Country Reeves are popular in Western Canada, but they're not the biggest sporting stars in this town. Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket, is. Big win last night for the Sharks. They beat the Canadiens in overtime. They're back on Sports Channel on Wednesday night as they take on the defending Stanley Cup champions, Patrick Waugh and the Colorado Avalanche. Brian will be by after the game at 10:30 with the Sports Channel reports.
A fitting way to end the quarter. Sprewell finds BJ as he just came into the flow of the game. Knocks down a near three-pointer, but his foot was over the line. But it gives the Warriors a 13-point lead, and they simply dominated. The field goal percentage has been phenomenal.
Daniel Marshall played very well off the bench. Chris Mullen was good in the starting role. Warriors getting good production from the small forward position while they wait for Donald Royal to arrive. Royal should be at practice tomorrow along with Felton Spencer, and they should be able to play Tuesday against Portland.
Well, they've got a very small lineup out there right now. Marshall and O's are the two biggest players.
Here's a B.J. Armstrong three-pointer, rebounded by Sprewell. Warriors a 14-11 edge on the boards tonight. Vancouver was out-rebounded by Portland on Friday night, Jim, 54-27. Tells you a lot about Vancouver, but also a lot about Portland. They're going to really devour people on the boards. Daniel Marshall with a block.
They're devouring Abdur-Rahim right now.
Here's a three by BJ again, another miss. Abdur-Rahim is 3 for 11 from the floor.
I'll tell you what he's trying to do. He's just trying to simply take it up and over people, and I think you could do that at the Pac-10 on a consistent basis. But here you have to make maybe the second or third move and also try to get yourself to the line, get some contact rather than go up soft and with finesse.
He only shot 32% of the preseason despite averaging almost 15 points a game. Bryant Reeves needed that shot for his confidence. He missed his own 4 shots he took in the first quarter. Finally on the score sheet here. Warrior lead is 33-22. Here's Ray O's showing off his jumper. We know about his strong play around the rim and his leaping, but he knocked that one down beautifully.
Well, if he can start doing that, he will continue to get playing time.
B.J. Armstrong defending Lee Mayberry in a matchup of backup point guards. Reeves back out to Mayberry for a long three. Roy Rogers tips it back to Mayberry. Vancouver will come again.
You know, Ray O's, as big as he is, as quick as he is, a great leaper, he still has yet to have a rebound tonight. A lot of rebounds from the guard position.
He was a very good defensive rebounder throughout the preseason as Springwell comes slashing in and gets himself on the free throw line.
Now that's what I was talking about. Just a moment ago, Abdur-Rahim did not get himself to the line. He got snuffed. Now watch Sprewell. He's not really concerned about making this shot. He knew that he was going to get contact and work himself to the free throw line.
Anthony Peeler comes in replacing Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Sharif 6 points, 5 rebounds in 13 minutes of play. 3 of 11 shooting.
You know, I think with Abdur-Rahim, yes, he's mature for his age. He will be 20 years of age come December, but I still think there's a lot of pressure on him. He would probably feel a lot of pressure to produce. 3rd overall pick in the draft, held in high esteem, come out after your freshman year in college and go that high. He's got to feel that pressure. I don't care how cool a customer you are.
You know, he was selected higher than any freshman in the history of the NBA, number 3 overall.
Yes.
And he almost went number 2. Iverson went first, and Marcus Camby went second. How about Iverson's debut game? He had 30 points for the Sixers on Friday night. And will go for a 4-point play. Fouled by Bimbo Coles as he drains the 3.
Makes it pretty easy. When you double team down low and you kick it out, Anthony Peeler is just having a field day right now. And as you say, going for a 4-point play. I mentioned it earlier, that's why they brought him in. 41% from 3-point range last year as a Laker.
Warrior lead is 11. It was as high as 14 late in the first quarter. Chris Mullin back in for Rick Adelman. It is a Coles-Armstrong backcourt. Up front, Mullin, Marshall, and O's. As Todd Fuller rests, the Warriors must go small. They don't have any other center on the roster. Nice play by Bimbo Coles. That's his first hoop of the game. Bimbo scored 8 points in the season opener against the Clips. Big Country Reeves swatted away by Marshall. Danielle very aggressive tonight. It was reported that Danielle Marshall asked Dave Twardzik to be traded after not playing at all in the season opener, Jim. He certainly is playing with a fire under him tonight.
Yeah, I think that's also some reporters coming in trying to get a story and going to a guy who didn't even play in the game and immediately taking advantage of maybe, you know, a situation where you might be a little emotional. I know how it is in the locker room and circumstances of that. Now, Mullin sometimes tries to get a little too clever with the ball and make somebody cut the right way.
39-28, the Warriors by 11. Warriors shooting 58% from the floor. Vancouver only at 34%. Nice recovery by Blue Edwards after initially being beaten backdoor by Mullin.
Did everything right, but the defense did recover.
Timeout, Rick Adelman. Ryan Reeves scores. Vancouver playing much better after Abdur-Rahim left the game. I don't know if it's coincidentally or not. We'll find out more here. Warrior lead is down to 9 midway through this second quarter. Warriors are back home on Tuesday night to take on Portland, and the Knickerbockers will be in on Thursday night. Season tickets, mini plans, and group night packages are still available by calling the Warriors at area code 510-986-2222.
Moment ago, Blue Edwards right in his element. When he can get the ball in an open court, He had a lot of space, a lot of room to maneuver. He did that little 360. It was very graceful. Beautiful backdoor play by Mullen, but Blue Edwards smelled it out and knew Mullen was going to go to weak side. In other words, Mullen was going to try to use the rim to protect the shot, but Blue Edwards cut off the angle, and a great leaper that he is, caught it right at the apex.
In total tonight, the Warriors are at 55.5%. They've made 15 of 27. There's the breakdown. Both made three-pointers from Mark Price, who is still resting. It's in Armstrong-Cole's backcourt. Todd Fuller back in the game, and he joins Marshall and Mullen. Warriors have been outscored 8-2 the last couple of moments. Their lead was 15. Oh, that blocked by Roy Rogers. Fuller thought he had a dunk. The Warriors will get the ball back. It was deflected out by Vancouver, but this place is beginning to rock after a big-time block by the rookie Rogers.
Well, lucky in the first place to recover with the ball. But Roy Rogers recovered. Remember, this is a guy that can get up in the air and block shots with anyone. Doesn't have a great offensive game. Todd Fuller just simply failed to seal him off. And also, Fuller went with the left hand, which was the side that Roy Rogers was coming from.
Warriors got a break there. Lee Mayberry picked up a foul with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Shot clock now 13 for Mullen. Since the Warriors getting out of their offense a bit as Mullen over-dribbled there, and they're not passing as crisply as they did earlier in the game. Here's a Mayberry three. Vancouver is back in the game. The lead is down to 6. It was 15.
And this crowd is loud. Averaged over 17,000 per game last year. They've got over that tonight.
And there were a lot of people, Jim, that were skeptical about NBA basketball in sleepy Western Canada. Rogers, another block. This guy looks like he's spring-loaded.
They got 2 good picks in the draft. Sharif Abdur-Rahim and Roy Rogers. A lot of people like Roy Rogers. Here's why. Has a knack for blocking a shot without committing a foul.
Well, this Roy Rogers is so good, he doesn't even need a partner.
No, he doesn't even need Trigger.
Here's Sprewell knocking down a three-pointer, a very much needed three from the Warriors. All-star Sprewell to help stem the crowd a bit here. 42-33. Warriors by 9. We have played 5 minutes in the second quarter. Brian Reeves looks a little better in the second quarter than he did in the first. Mark Price waiting to check in. The Warriors need his leadership and stability back in the game. Fuller, he should get this dunk. Roy Rogers is not anywhere to be seen. Brian Reeves hits the deck. Interesting how Vancouver began to pick up their game once Abdur-Rahim left the floor.
Well, I think the ball got distributed a little more evenly, and the passing was good.
That's Lawrence Moten.
Oh,
the bank.
We know what he can do. He didn't mean to bank that shot straight on, but big-time score at Syracuse. This may be counted. I don't think they're going to give it to him.
Bimbo Coles will not get the bucket. It'll be a side inbounds, as a foul has been called on Lawrence Moten.
Yeah, Moten not known for his defense. Scored a lot of points, a lot of them in garbage time last year, and there was a lot of garbage time to be had.
So a good play by Mullen getting Rogers, the leaper, in the air. He saw how Rogers is so quick to leave his feet to block shots, so he gave him a little head fake, and Rogers took the bait.
That good experienced shooter like Chris Mullen can bait a shot blocker. Guys who like to jump are going to leave their feet more often.
Mullen only scored 8 points in the opener, Jim, and he had 6 of those points in the first quarter.
We've seen Mullen do that throughout the years, nothing new.
Mullen with 8 points tonight. Sprewell leads the Warriors with 10. 7 from Todd Fuller. Mark Price and Danielle Marshall each had 6. Roy Rogers fumbled it, but it went off of Sprewell. Sprewell trying to steal a call here. That ball clearly glanced off of Latrell. Roy Rogers not able to handle what would have been a dunk had he been able to catch the ball. Offensively, he's a bit raw. Shot clock at 5 for Vancouver. Peeler pops open. Bimbo Coles gets back in time to make him miss a three. Mullen goes right up over Rogers for a three-point goal. Mullen has a game-high 11 points. Warrior 15-point lead was sliced to 6. Now it's back up to 12 again. Sharif Abdul-Rahim is going to check back in for Brian Winters. Next stoppage of play. Anthony Peeler. Rebound to Coles. Mullen up the floor.
Price is the guy.
Rogers lunging out, makes a miss. Rebound pulled by Anthony Peeler. Here's Lee Mayberry.
Price is real upset that he missed that shot. That's probably the most wide open he's been.
Moten loves to deal on the baseline. Rogers goes right up quickly. Rebound Sprewell.
And Rogers is not an offensive threat, at least at this point in his game.
Oh, good play by Peeler to shut the baseline, then to get the block from behind on Coles. Price fouls Lawrence Moten. Lawrence Moten, when he was done, the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Big East Conference. First foul of the game on Price. Sharif Abdul-Rahim averaged better than 21 points a game his only year in Cal. He's back in now. Nice play by Peeler.
Yeah, good play from behind. I think Bimbo Coles thought that he had lost him completely. Didn't expect him to recover.
Lawrence Moten had a terrific preseason, Jim. He shot 60% from the floor, almost 11 points per game, but did not get it until very late in their opening loss to Portland on Friday.
Well, here's one of the problems that he has. He can score, but last year he shot 65% from the free throw line, just missed 2 there.
Sprewell into Fuller, and the Warriors fumble it away. Fuller was not anticipating what Sprewell was going to do.
You got to have your hands up. I think he thought that Sprewell was going to try to finish, and he was looking for rebound position.
Here he goes, Abdul-Rahim against Mullen. He can deal down. I think Danielle Marshall should watch this guy play a little bit, huh? He could be a kind of an Abdul-Rahim with his back to the bucket like that.
Absolutely.
In fact, Danielle's going to come back into the game here momentarily, maybe match up with Sharif. 4 minutes to play in the first half. We're in downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, in their entertainment district inside the beautiful General Motors place. Chris Mullen bumped and fouled, and he's on the line. First foul of the evening called on Sharif.
Abdul-Rahim last time just gets low and goes up and over everybody. Sometimes he's going to have to learn to get that shot off a little quicker. A good shot blocker could turn when his back is away from him and come right in there and block it. Now Mullen having a terrific offensive night. Danielle Marshall's had a terrific night so far in his minutes on the floor. It's nice to see that. Mullen not always pretty all the time, but he's always effective, knows how to draw the fouls.
Chris has scored the last 6 Warrior points of the game. He has 12 now for the evening. Warriors back up by 11. Playing a Mark Price, Latrell Sprewell backcourt up front, Mullen, Marshall, and Fuller. Oh, good look by Reeves. Foul before. Moten went right down the gut, but Bill Oakes calls a foul on Danielle Marshall, a holding violation.
Now watch what happens when Mullen comes over. Moten just goes to the basket. You go to double team when the ball is entered. Moten made the right move, and that's a great recovery from Danielle Marshall.
That's what the coaches call diving. And your guy leaves you, just go right to the basket. Anthony Peeler knows all about that. Anthony Peeler has scored 11 points tonight.
Well, forget the score right now, Greg. Vancouver is a lot better than they were last year. That's evident.
They're more athletic.
Yes.
And that was a priority because the guy they're building this around in the middle, Bryant Reeves, is not very athletic. So the only way he can compete really is to put springy leapers and good court runners around him.
Yes.
Nice play. He has no big country. He's got a pair of mitts on him and he sees the floor well. He handles the double team well. And they got him looking to pass. That was nicely done.
That always wasn't the case, as I mentioned earlier, last year. But with Sharif Abdul-Rahim, why not? You see how quick he got up to the rim?
Mullen misses over Moten. It is 50-43 Warriors. Here goes Sharif. Right around Danielle. Reeves finishes out. Those are the guys here in Vancouver. Abdul Rahim and Big Country Reed. 20-second timeout called by Adelman. And it will become a full now as Vancouver's required to take their timeout. An 8-1 Vancouver run, and they are back in the game once again. 2.5 to go in the half. Warrior lead down to 5. Tonight we salute Phil Smith as a part of our 50 years, 50 stars. The long-armed leaper was a Warrior round 2 pick, number 29 overall in 1974 out of USF. Of course, he was a big member of the Warriors' 1975 NBA Championship Club, an all-star in both 76 and 77. And then August of 1980, the Warriors traded Phil Smith and a later round 1 pick in 84 to San Diego to get World free. 6 years with the Warriors. 1 game with the Warriors, January of 76, Jim. He scored 51 points. Not a bad shooting night.
Well, he was a prolific scorer, 20 for 22 from the field, almost matching Bill Walton against Memphis State. Remember that in the final game in the NCAA. Now, Phil Smith is also a very successful stockbroker in San Diego and a class act. How about going from USF to the World Championship just across the bay?
Speaking of class acts, we're going to talk to Sharif coming up at halftime. Like Phil Smith, from a Bay Area campus to the NBA and doing well.
Quick leaper, right spot, and a good pass from Bryant Reeves. Now, Donyell Marshall's got to learn to play defense better. He had all his help in the middle, and he allowed Abdul Rahim to slip down the baseline, and it created an opening for Bryant Reeves, who cleaned up on the play. You can see Bryant Reeves has been much more effective in the second period, as the entire Vancouver Grizzlies have also.
You're exactly right. They shot very poorly in the first quarter, but in the second quarter, Vancouver's hit 11 of their 20 shots, and the Warriors have cooled off just 5 of their 15. Warriors still with a lead of 5 points here. Rayo's trying for an acrobatic putback, but it's fumbled out of bounds off of Mullen.
Well, it would have been spectacular. I think he even had time to grab it with 2 hands and take it home.
We are late in the first half. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Anthony Peeler trying to pull the Grizzlies a bit closer. They're within 5. Peeler's already put up 10 shots tonight, and he has made 4. Mullen the miss, Fuller tipped, rebound taken by Lawrence Moten. They hope to give him more playing time if he can play solid defense. Here's a traveling violation on Moten up top.
You know, the Warriors changed up. See, the double team comes here. They're leaving Moten here. They do not want to leave Peeler on this side. Before, they had been coming from weak side. The double team came now. Sprewell got in the middle, but he still had time to recover on Peeler and bother him enough that he missed the shot. They don't want to leave Peeler alone from 3-point range.
Behind, shot clock down to 7. Mullen knocks Moten over, stumbling all over the place. He scores a layup.
I said a few moments ago, it's not always pretty, but somehow he can make it effective.
Chris Mullen has a game-high 14 points, 5 of 8 from the floor, and 3 of 4 from the line. Here's Abdul Rahim. Boy, it looks a little like James Worthy the way he rocked towards the baseline that time, didn't he, Jim?
He's got a quick spin move. Here Chris pulls up just in time. Moten goes down. Peeler reaches, and Mullen just finishes. Now here's this quick spin move. You know, he's got more finesse than power.
Now, speaking of Worthy, I'm not sure I would have put him on the top 50 list. I don't think he's one of the 50 greatest players of all time. Do you?
It's questionable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you put him there, you got to put Bob McAdoo on it.
Here's Anthony Peeler. In fact, I think both Worthy and Parrish should have been, Robert Parrish should have been omitted. More of a product of the great teammates they had. Without Bird and McHale, you can't put Robert Parrish on that list. Mullen double team. Price. Good play by Price. Missed the bank. Fuller battling. And then he bumps Lee Mayberry. Could have been called for a foul there, but was not. But Vancouver does get the ball with 31.7 seconds to play in the half. Warriors dominated the first quarter, but not nearly as strong as their play been in the second quarter. Bryant Reeves will be on the line for two.
Well, I'll tell you why the Warriors haven't been as successful in the second period. They haven't been able to get into their transition game. In the first quarter, it seemed like they were getting all the missed shots because there were a lot to be had, as Vancouver was very cold, and they got up the floor and they created openings for themselves and got easy baskets. But now they've been relegated to half-court offense primarily in the second quarter.
Big Country adding a mustache this year. They would like him to become a better free throw shooter because he does shoot quite a few free throws. Last year as a rookie, he shot him 73%. He has a soft touch. Daniel the rebound. Here's your last play of the first half. The Warriors with a 52-46 lead. Nice play by Sprewell, getting Daniel a wide open three. Didn't make it. And that's the way the first half will end. Warriors jumped on Vancouver early and led by 15 points early in the second quarter, but the Grizzlies came roaring back behind the strong play of Anthony Reeves and Bryant Reeves and Anthony Peeler, and they get within 6 at halftime. We're going to head back to our studios and check in with Brian Weber, and then Jim and I will come back in a bit and we'll talk to Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Golden State Warriors had a very solid first quarter, led by 13, then by 15 at one point in the second quarter. Vancouver played much better in that second quarter. It's only a 6-point halftime lead as we check out our halftime highlights, brought to you by Chrysler.
Well, once again, Latrell Sprewell is your leading rebounder. He got 13 in the home opener, which ties a career high. But I thought in the first quarter, that was the difference for the Warriors because they were able to rebound and run. Ends up here, Mark Price knocking down a 3-point shot. He had 2 of them in the first half. But the rebounds were very important in the first quarter. Now, Mullen has had a terrific offensive game. Abdur-Rahim struggled early on. Misses here, but made a nice move to the baseline. Bryant Reeves cleaned up. Abdur-Rahim was struggling in the first quarter. He was only 3 for 10. Bryant Reeves, who was totally out of sync, 0 for 4 in the first quarter, got hot in the second quarter. He was 4 for 4. But I thought Daniel Marshall off the bench, what he did when he first entered the game. Daniel Marshall not only made 3 of his 4 shots for the half, but he also contributed with 5 rebounds. Here's the guy that's been consistent throughout. Mullen 5 for 8 in the first half, 1 for 1 from 3-point range, on the way to a game-leading 14 points.
And although the Warriors lost a lot of their lead, they did get very good production from the small forward position in Mullen and Marshall. I think Rick Adelman has to be very happy with the way this game has gone so far. The Warriors only have 8 healthy guys. They only have 1 center available tonight in Todd Fuller. They had to be worried about foul trouble for Fuller, Jim, yet he played foul-free in the first half, 20 minutes, and only did not pick up a single personal foul.
Well, shouldn't be a concern right now because no one has more than 2 fouls. But I thought the defense of the Vancouver Grizzlies really picked up in the second quarter. And when Roy Rogers came in there, he gave Rick Adelman a few areas of concern. But both teams are playing hard. I think they're both playing much better than their debuts on Friday night.
As you break down the Warriors' shooting numbers for the entire half, they shot 44%. In the first quarter, the Warriors hit 13 of 21. That is 62%. But in the second quarter, the Warriors only hit 6 of 22, and that is below 30%. So we'll see how the Warriors play in the third quarter. They have a 6-point lead. Starting 5 is back out there. Price and Sprewell in the backcourt. Mullen with Ray Owes and Todd Fuller up front. Sprewell over Anthony Peeler, banks in a 3-pointer.
Now he's talking with Chris Mullen right now because Mullen gave him a little wink and he was laughing all the way down the court, and Sprewell's saying, no, I called it. The bank is open. I call it the whole way. And he knew he didn't.
Edwards too strong off the backboard. Todd Fuller the rebound. Then he was fouled immediately by Bryant Reeves.
You know, Greg, they started Eric Mobley. He played 8 minutes. Didn't get back in the game. Now here's the shot from Sprewell on the bank at that angle. Going back to Mobley, though, the Warriors had a terrific first quarter, actually a great first 6 minutes, and Mobley's never really entered the game since. And they start Blue Edwards to begin the second half.
Price throws it away, trying to hit Mullen, but Mullen was more to the baseline.
I think Mullen moved on him. He was open, and then he went down the lane at the same gate that Mark Price was going, and Price and all the traffic couldn't find him.
Anthony Peeler over to Blue Edwards to Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Put back up, but not in. Eventually it goes in on the back by Reeves as Vancouver begins to beat over the boards. Warriors were out-rebounded in their season opener by 10 by the LA Clippers.
Well, that was the backcourt fault. Mark Price failed to get a body on Greg Anthony, and he got it up and kept it alive.
Mullen trying to wrap around into Fuller. Second straight Warrior turnover. Abdul-Rahim to Greg Anthony. The Vancouver Grizzlies are once again within 5 points. Reeves over to double, and Sprewell misses. Rebound Todd Fuller back up, and he'll go for a three-point play.
Good second effort by Fuller, his chance to get his first three-point play in his NBA career. Sprewell got good low position, drew a double team, and that allowed Fuller to come inside because Ryan Reeves went over to help out.
Todd Fuller has a real knack on the offensive boards. Good free thrower, but this time he's very long into the right. He pulled 10 rebounds a game last year at North Carolina State, second best mark in the ACC, and 3.5 of those 10 were off the offensive boards. Anthony Peeler slips inside for an easy one. Peeler has 13 points. Former LA Laker round 1 draft pick. Was a Laker for 4 years before the trade this summer. Good rebound by Ray Owes. He wants to dunk. Able to shove it in over Abdul-Rahim with power.
Oh, he took that up strong. Great offensive rebound, though. That's Ray Owes at his best, and that is his forte. He loves to get a running start.
Three-second violation on Vancouver. And the ball goes back over to the Warriors. That is Vancouver's 7th turnover of the game. Pretty low total. Warriors have 10. Rick Adelman needs this one tonight. Portland on Tuesday, the Knickerbockers on Thursday, at Denver on Friday, then it's Seattle. I mean, a lot of the great teams in the NBA will be the Warriors' opponents to close out the month of November.
Well, the strength of the NBA is clearly in the West. The Pacific Division is tough, and the Warriors are just going to have to play at their best in order to compete. I think they called traveling on Sprewell. This play always gets Rick Adelman upset because Sprewell has worked so hard on his footwork this past summer. Try to eliminate some of those errors.
Anthony Peeler. Rebounded by Ray Owes. Owes playing well. Mullen. Rebound tipped away from Fuller. Edwards saves, but to Mullen. It's off a foot, and it's off of Mullen's foot.
He had the ball. I just think he lost the handle. I don't think he was going to pick it up and start dribbling there.
Greg Anthony brings it into the offensive end. Anthony in the final year of his contract. He led them in scoring last year, but he's trying to be more of an assist guy. He will right by Mark Price to score easily. He has scored 2 hoops in the early part of the third quarter after scoring only 1 in the first quarter half. Warrior lead is now down to 5 again. Sprewell blocked by Abdul-Rahim.
He wants it.
He traveled.
He collided also with Ray Owes. Now Sprewell feels the pressure from Rahim. Watch what happens though at the other end. As he caught the ball, he traveled on a play and he got kind of locked up with Ray Owes and hurt his left knee. It was knee on knee. I think he's okay.
Oh, Price, nice move to the bucket.
When you're small, sometimes you get lost in the trees out there and somebody chases out and just turn the corner and you're gone by them and they don't realize where you are.
Good Warriors surrounding defense on Fuller and the center Reeves. They came at him from all angles, and Mullen stripped it, goes right for a three, and knocks it down. Mullen has 17 points. Timeout called immediately by Brian Winters as the Warriors go back out to a 10-point lead. A refreshing change for Rick Adelman here in the third quarter.
This copyrighted broadcast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Well, a moment ago, Chris Mullen had the ball on the right side. Now, Mark Price is going to go over a double staggered screen, what you call a staggered screen. Now, here's how he makes this effective, by going all the way around and down the lane, because his defender trails him to the outside. And this is exactly what Price wanted. He just turned the corner, and Greg Anthony could not recover at all, and clearly the quickness of Price beat Bryant Reeves. Mullen comes right back down the floor, pulls the trigger quickly on a three-pointer, and knocks that one home. And that's Mullen's second of the game.
And with that three-pointer, Jim, it is an historic one for Mullen. He is now over 15,000 points in his career. He has 15,002 with a 17 tonight. He is the Warriors' fourth all-time leading scorer behind Wilt, Rick, and Paul Arizin, the overlooked Warrior, and a member of the 50 greatest players in the history of the NBA.
Yep. And
Pitch and Paul, he had over 16,000 points.
That's pretty good company with those Hall of Famers for Chris Mullen. And based upon his college career, I think Chris Mullen's probably headed in that same direction.
I think he's already in. He could wrap it up right now and Mullen would be in the Hall of Fame. Paul Arizin was a Philadelphia Warrior on the West Coast. George Lynch didn't do much playing with the LA Lakers, especially last year. Had a decent rookie year, but then lost playing time and points every year, and he was subsequently let go to make room to sign Shaq this year. Here's Lynch pulling the rebound out of North Carolina.
And he's going to help them. He's a nice acquisition. Pretty good defender and a better offensive game than some people think when he plays within himself.
Nice trying right there, maybe playing outside of himself, trying to take a little bit too long of a shot.
They used to go down to the forum, though. He always worked on about a 15, 16-footer, and he got better the last couple of years. He's improved that outside shot.
The problem is that last one was 18 feet away. Should have stepped in. Shot clock down to 7 for Mullen, doubled and throws it away. Right to Greg Anthony. Open is Peeler. Not for long, though. Good defense by Ray Owes. Owes playing a strong game tonight. Rebound pulled by Todd Fuller. Mullen misses. Sprewell misses. Warriors leading 64 to 58. As Brian Reeves scores, and Rick Adelman's going to call an immediate timeout here, not allowing the Grizz and their fans to get too worked up over it. Midway through this third quarter, the Warrior lead has been slashed to 6. Warriors leading the Vancouver Grizzlies by a score of 64 to 58 midway through this third quarter. If you want to learn more about the Warriors, check out Sports Channel's Spotlight this coming weekend, the Bay Area's most comprehensive interview program. 30-minute sit-down. Bob Fitzgerald will talk with the head coach of the Warriors, Rick Adelman. We'll have that for you tomorrow night at 11 o'clock right here on Sports Channel.
Well, Chris Mullen climbed over that 15,000 mark. A moment ago, he made a nice little play to the baseline. Now watch him come here. If we stop it right here. Mullen sees that Fuller's inside because Reeves is over here. But Greg Anthony comes down. He's got to seal this player. He's got to seal the player with his body. Todd Fuller did not do that. He's got to just step in, and he would have had an easy 2 points on a nice bounce pass from Chris Mullen. Now, Chris Mullen does have a tendency to try to create a play sometimes when it's not there because he's always thinking ahead. He's probably a step or two ahead most players. And that's usually the passer's fault. Mullen gets the turnover in that situation, but you've got to learn what to do in different scenarios on the court, and Fuller has to get a little bigger bodied in.
Rayo's going to inbound to the backcourt. Shot clock at 23. Warriors playing a Price Sprewell backcourt, a front line of Mullen O's and Fuller. That's the way they started the game and this third quarter. Here's a foul on the baseline called on the Warriors. An offensive foul. David Jones detects. It is on Chris.
Trying to free up Mark Price, and you don't really have to set too much of a screen for Mark Price because he utilizes the screen as effectively as anyone I've ever seen in the NBA. He really knows how to come off them.
Lou Edwards inside. Reeves, after a scoreless first quarter, has picked it up.
That's a big-time move because he had 3 defenders on him. He still managed to make it look easy.
Reeves scored 9 in the second quarter. He has scored 6 already in the third. Peeler steals. George Lynch. It's an 8-0 Vancouver run. This is the closest they have been since the first quarter. The Warrior lead is down to a single hoop now. 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go, third quarter. Mark Price, a three-pointer. Knocked it down, his third of the game.
Hit his first 2, then missed 3 in a row. Now comes back for another one, and they needed it.
Anthony, tough shot over Price. Rebound to Fuller. Todd Fuller has 8 rebounds, Jim.
Yeah, I don't think that's a shot Vancouver wanted. Fuller's done more than his job tonight. Now, Country's scoring right now, but Fuller stayed out of foul trouble, rebounding well.
Ray Owes knocks down 1. He has 8 points and 3 rebounds.
Well, somebody missed on this kid last year because he can play.
Rebound, Peeler had tipped away. Price gets it, and then Peeler fouls him. Brian Winters, a very patient teacher who always keeps his chin up, and it's hard when you're coaching an expansion team. They had 15 victories last season. They would like to improve by about 7 the next couple of years and try to get to 40 victories sometime in their 4th year.
Well, they didn't panic and try for veterans and make some trades they would have regretted in the long run. They're sticking with their game plan, and they're going to build through the draft.
George Lynch creates a jump ball. Latrell Sprewell held that ball a little too long.
I have to agree. He's got to pass out of a double team more quickly.
He allowed Lynch to step in and tie him up. Look at this jump. Sprewell went up and came down, and nobody touched the ball. And it deflects over to Anthony. That's an Isaiah Thomas type pass for a Lynch miss. Goes right back up. He's fouled. As Ray Owes blocks the shot, he fouls him. Third foul on Owes.
Good bounce pass. I thought Lynch did a nice job of avoiding contact and stayed with the play to get the rebound. Just gets the contact on Ray Owes. They say he's 6'8", 225. I think he's 225, but I'll bet you right now he's not a 1/16 of an inch over 6'7".
Daniel Marshall comes in. Also B.J. Armstrong and Bimbo Coles, as Rick Adelman will use his entire 3-man bench he has available here, pulling off Price, Mullen, and Owes, bringing in Coles, Armstrong, and Daniel Marshall. George Lynch. Fuller dropped the rebound as he stumbled. Anthony scores.
Well, I thought Todd got casual on that play. He almost didn't even block off when he got the defensive rebound on the missed free throw. He just kind of was casually catching the ball and didn't have good balance.
Shot clock at 2. BJ must hoist. Good play by Reeves, keeping Fuller off the boards.
Good recognition by BJ just to get the shot off.
Here's a foul. A 3-second call on Big Country. It took Vancouver too long to get the ball inside to Reeves, and they turned it over again. We've been talking about the importance of this game for the Warriors with the schedule that lies ahead for them. Very difficult, but same story for Vancouver, Jim. They're going to be off on a 3-game road trip beginning Tuesday at the United Center in Chicago. So if they don't win tonight, they could be looking at an 0-5 start. Marshall a violation before. I'm not certain what the call was. If Marshall traveled, it was a traveling violation on Danielle.
It was a late whistle.
Warriors now with 17 turnovers. They have committed 9 of those in this third quarter. 2.5 to go in the third quarter. And Lawrence Moten back in for Vancouver. They have scores all over the floor now. And here's one of them. Reeves misses. George here. He will get an opportunity to reestablish himself in the NBA, Jim, after floundering with the Lakers.
Yeah, that's exactly what players are looking for, players of that caliber. Even the Lakers, Anthony Peeler's playing time had diminished. George Lynch, they just started to forget about him, and now he's got new life.
Well, that was some trade they made. We'll have to explain that one later. A real contemporary NBA-style trade. Marshall with a nice play. Danielle playing well. 8 points and 6 rebounds. His first hoop in the second half.
Fuller thought he was fouled on the shot. That's why he took it up.
Anthony throws it away. Swiped by Bimbo Cole. Sprewell up the floor. And he shovels to Danielle. Lynch fouls him in the back.
Now, if Bimbo had gotten the ball up the floor 2 or 3 dribbles sooner to Sprewell, Marshall would have had an easy dunk. Now, Fuller was looking for a foul there. Marshall, those long arms, I really like him around the basket. Short little dribble and a soft finesse jump hook. Now, good steal by Bimbo, goes to the passing lane, but here I thought he could have pushed the ball up. Maybe just couldn't get control of it. So consequently, Marshall's going to have to earn the 2 points via the free throw line.
Well, he'll only get one. He missed the first free throw. Warriors up 5 points. George Lynch, check out this trade. The Los Angeles Lakers traded George Lynch and Anthony Peeler and 2 future round 2s to Vancouver, and all the Lakers got back was 2 future round 2s in the same year, both of 98, 99.
And Vancouver got a number 1.
Right. Now, why would they make a trade like that?
Salary cap reasons. Shaquille O'Neal. They had to unload players.
They just wanted to move those guys off because if you cut them, they'd still be accounted against the cap. They tried to clear off the money simply to sign Shaq.
And by the way, Stu Jackson, very astute general manager here in Vancouver. Of course, why shouldn't he be astute? He's from that higher education learning school of the University of Oregon.
For some. For some. Those that pay attention in school, Jim, you must have been daydreaming. Worrying about the UCLA Bruins and John Wooden. Individual game tickets for the Warriors season are now on sale at all Bass ticket centers. Good seats still available for both games this week. Portland on Tuesday and the New York Knickerbockers on Thursday. We're going to have to study hard to get ready for those 2 teams, Jim. They have completely changed their rosters.
A lot of new personnel, and both teams are improved, vastly improved.
55 seconds to go, third quarter. Sprewell misses. Sprewell's played all but 2 minutes tonight. There's a loose ball foul on the Warriors, and this one is on Danielle Marshall. It will also hurt because it'll give Vancouver 2 free throws.
Well, you still don't want to take away his aggressiveness. I like the foul because I like the effort that Danielle gave in order trying to retrieve that offensive rebound, and he's not always shown a tendency to do that.
Latrell Sprewell has not shot the ball well the last few moments. He has missed his last 5 shots. In fact, the Warriors, the last 7 minutes of play, are 3 of 10 from the floor, and they've turned the ball over 5 times. Lead is 3, make it 2. George Lynch playing well. And in defense of Jerry West, you can pile up all the George Lynches and Anthony Peelers you want. You still want Shaquille O'Neal. You can take 100 of those guys.
Without question.
So it was a good trade for both teams.
It's a great move for both teams.
Lawrence Moten traveling violation on Bimbo Coles. A very curious call by Sean Corbin. It looked like he was fouled by Moten, but they get the traveling violation beforehand.
Bimbo never let loose of the ball. Watch what happens on this play. First of all, Moten recovers on the play. Now, if he touched the ball, though, it could have been a jump ball. I thought that's the worst scenario for the Warriors.
Big step by Lawrence Moten, scores, and he's fouled. No, wait a minute, they called an offensive foul. An offensive foul on Lawrence Moten. Or did they get it on Peeler? I think it was on the pick set along the baseline. It's on Mobley right there. They got it on Eric Mobley against Fuller. He didn't need to do it. His fielder already, Moten already at the baseline.
Absolutely. I was going to say he wasn't even involved in the play.
Todd Fuller stumbling again. BJ looks it over, then flings and rattles one down.
And for Armstrong, who has struggled the first game and continued into this in the first half, big basket for him and the team.
There's a tip out of bounds. With 2.3 seconds to play, the Grizzlies have time for one more shot. B.J. Armstrong just 2 for 6 after making that last three-pointer. It is 75-71.
B.J. 1 for 5 in the season opener.
Pardon me, they gave B.J. only 2 on the last shot. It was not called a three-pointer. Well, Rick Adelman's going to have to sweat out the fourth quarter tonight in Vancouver. The Warriors will enter the final 12 minutes with a lead of only 4 points. After a humbling loss in their season opener, the Warriors are in danger of losing game number 2 tonight, leading Vancouver by only 4 points entering the fourth quarter. And they need this game because the Portland Trailblazers will be the opponents on Tuesday night. Join us Tuesday at 7:30 for the tip-off. Now, Arvydas Sabonis is still a Blazer, but they have made significant changes. Rod Strickland is now in Washington. Buck Williams is in New York. James Robinson is in Minneapolis. And they have added Kenny Anderson, Rasheed Wallace, Isaiah Ryder, 3 former lottery picks. As we check out our Discover Card NBA notebook, they are certainly talented, Jim, but potentially troubled in Portland. Ryder being suspended for the first game. Their win over Vancouver here on Friday.
Well, Kenny Anderson, though, is playing very well. Had a very nice game last night against Seattle.
And he was probably the best player on the floor in the win over the Grizzlies here on Friday night. A little slapping foul is called. And Eric Mobley will go to the free throw line. Foul is called on Ray Owes, and now he does enter foul trouble. That is Ray's 4th foul of the evening. We'll see what Adelman elects to do. We are only 21 seconds into the fourth quarter.
Well, there's not much choice. You almost have to leave him out there to fend for himself. Unless you want to slide Daniel Marshall over to the power forward spot.
Eric Mobley with his first 2 points of the game from the line, and Vancouver's now within a hoop at 75-73. Warriors are playing a Coles-Armstrong backcourt, front line of Mullen, Marshall, and Owes. BJ right down the middle.
Stayed with the play. He was thinking pass, and all of a sudden a lot of daylight opened up for him, and he got good control of the ball. He's one of those guys that'll throw the ball out to tease the defenders. They'll reach instead of move their feet, then he'll swipe it real quickly and regain possession.
Moten, a high lob into Abdul. Nice pass. And this guy has a nice set of hands, Jim, and also such long arms.
He can play. He can play inline to inline. He's comfortable with the ball or without it. That's what's nice and effective about his offensive game. He doesn't need the ball in order to be able to score. Eventually he does.
I'll be anxious to see Marcus Camby. Wow, how could you pass on this guy? He's only 19 years of age. BJ an open 3. Rebound, Moten tips. Vancouver can tie the game or take the lead with a 3. Mobley was open on the pick and roll, but no pass. It goes to Sharif. Sharif just 6 of 17 from the floor.
Now these are good opportunities for the Warriors if they can push it and get some shots. Well, they're just stronger that one.
Abdul-Rahim to Moten, back to Sharif. Daniel. You can see that coming.
Yes, and it's nice to see him recover and take a little pride and get a little mad once in a while.
Vancouver did not run the 2-on-1 effectively, and then Abdul-Rahim misses the fade.
That was great defense by Ray Owes on Abdul-Rahim. And Ray Owes is dragging. He is visibly tired.
BJ throws it away. He went airborne with no shot. A Cardinal sin. Timeout called by Brian Winters. We are 2.5 into a lively fourth quarter here in British Columbia. Warriors 77, the Grizz 75. With only 8 available bodies tonight, the Warriors need contributions from everybody, Jim, and they're getting contributions from everybody, including B.J. Armstrong and Ray O's.
Well, here's a nice move by B.J. You see how the defense reached from the weak side? In this case, it was Abdur-Rahim, and B.J. split him. Down here, though, Donyell Marshall recovers after turning the ball over at the other end and blocks the shot on Abdur-Rahim, a terrific defensive play. And Ray O's made a nice defensive play on Abdur-Rahim right after that.
Here's a 3 by Lee Mayberry. Vancouver has the lead, their first since the first quarter. 78-77, Grizzlies.
You know, I knew this place would go berserk if Vancouver ever took the lead, and they did.
Ball is tipped in.
Marshall, long arms again. He's having a terrific game.
10 points, 7 rebounds for Donyell. In this, his opening night. Did not play at all Friday. George Lynch, a 3-pointer. That's out of his range. He'll come in a little bit closer and feed Anthony Peeler back into the game.
Anthony a little upset. He misses a 3, but he was upset with George Lynch because he didn't put the ball right where he could catch it and shoot it. Former teammates reunited again here.
Very easy to read Anthony's mind as he stopped playing for a moment and just gave him a grimace. Sprewell. Warriors, after seeing the Grizzlies take the lead, come right back. Pardon me, that was Ray O's on the last shot. 81-79. Abdur-Rahim. He has a lot of moves inside. Warrior lead at 1. Mark Price is resting. So is Todd Fuller.
That had turnover written all over it. Bimbo Coles just ran it down.
Latrell Sprewell is also resting. They'll all be coming in. Mullen fouled. He'll go for a 3-point play. Beautifully done by Chris.
This is the motion offense, and they've been doing this the last couple of sequences. Open up the middle of the floor, and you get cutters. See, now Mullen just comes off a screen. BJ was clearing through, and the defense gets all tangled up amongst themselves. And Mullen, a veteran player, very astute, knows how to use his defender to run him into somebody else.
The Warriors need Mullen to score. When Chris scores 20 or more points, the Warrior win percentage is much higher over the years. Sprewell is back in after a couple of moments on the bench. Fuller also back into the game. Mark Price is still resting. Anthony Peeler 3 is in. A 1-point game again. When Mullen scores 20 or more, the Warriors win at a 54% clip.
Looks like he's going to go to the line again, unless they call it before the shot. And they're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, and another thing for Chris Mullen, why he has to score when he's on the floor, because he's not going to do a lot of other things. He can't do what Donyell Marshall, he can't rebound with Donyell Marshall. Doesn't get a lot of rebounds. In fact, in the preseason, Greg, he got 1 rebound for every 12 minutes played, or every 24 minutes played. So he's not going to give you that aspect, and he's not a great defender as far as, you know, taking on bigger people. He can play well with his hands, but he simply has to come off screens thinking shot and pass second, and he's doing that tonight.
I don't think they need him to be a 25-a-night scorer that he was earlier in his career, but he needs to be closer to his career average, which is 21.2, than when he scored last year at only 13.3. Warriors are up 3. Mullen has 22 tonight. Anthony Peeler for a tie game. This guy's going wild here. 19 points for Anthony Peeler.
The double team can't come from that side. You've got to get out on Peeler because Bryant Reeves is now looking for him.
That's why he's here, to soften the interior defense and knock down threes. He's made back-to-back threes. Nice move by Sprewell. He lost it late, recovers, stays with it, and scores. How did he get out of there with a hoop?
How did he get out of there without being called for traveling? He took a couple of little hops inside. Then he got it blocked partially, but Spree is cat-like quick, and he stayed with it. This is an offensive foul on Bryant Reeves inside.
Nice play by Fuller. Fuller was pushing, but Reeves is called for the foul for Big Country, his third of the game.
To the right of your screen, there's the left arm into the face of Todd Fuller, and they caught him.
Fuller has held his own tonight against Big Country Reeves. We have 6 minutes to play from Vancouver.
Isolation.
Sprewell grazing the rim on a high three.
That's, you know, when you isolate on one side and the floor is cleared, I like to drive that. You can get the three-pointer anytime.
Anthony Paylor, rebound, his own miss, right back up. He's a big-time talent. At Missouri, his senior year, almost 23.5 points a game. The Grizzlies can take a 2-point lead here, or better. Abdur-Rahim lost it, Mullen from behind. Armstrong right down the gun again. Warriors 90, Vancouver 88. B.J. Armstrong playing a very strong second half.
Shifty move.
20-second timeout called by Brian Winters. Head coach of the Vancouver Grizzlies, spent 9 years alongside Lenny Wilkins as an NBA assistant coach. 7 years in Cleveland, a couple in Atlanta.
All right, here's the last play. Right there, you see Abdur-Rahim. Mullen comes around, again, plays defense with the hands, a nice strip. Watch BJ go coast to coast behind the back, slithers down, finishes with the left hand. Nice controlled move.
And this 20-second timeout has now become a full timeout. Chris Mullen leads the Warriors in scoring tonight with 22 points on 7 of 13 from the floor. 5 minutes to go. The Warriors are up 2. Greg Poppin, Jim Barnett back inside General Motors Place in Vancouver. Warriors 0-1, Vancouver 0-1. Rick Adelman at this point in the game, 5 minutes to play, with a 2-point lead, elects to bring in Mark Price. And he also elects to leave B.J. Armstrong on the floor.
Well,
and go to a small group.
He's going with offense. Bimbo Coles is not in there. You've got a 3-guard lineup with Price, Armstrong, and Sprewell. Sprewell moves to the small forward spot. Guess what? B.J. Armstrong just came off the floor.
That was quick.
They had 6 players on the floor.
They had Rose and Fuller out there. Anthony Paylor, who has scored Vancouver's last 8 points inside the Big Country. Bryant Reeves. Rebound to Sprewell. Sprewell approaching a triple-double tonight. He has 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Forced it there. 4.5 to play. Paylor, Greg Anthony, Sharif.
Good idea. Just balance up, get control. Oh, Mark Price took that to trouble. He's going to be okay. Ooh. Now, with B.J. Armstrong going off the floor, this is what we were wondering at timeout. Would Mark Price finish the game? Because you know Rick Adelman likes Mark Price to be in there in crunch time, but B.J. had been playing so well. So I thought it would be logical that they might play together.
Well, the choice right now is B.J. or Ray Owens, you would think.
Yes.
Now, Abdur-Rahim is going to take a rest here in favor of George Lynch. Sharif is 7 of 21 from the floor tonight. Shot clock at 7 for Sprewell. Price has to go. Mullen with 4. Ray Owens has to fire, and he knocks it down.
Is he cool? He's got ice water in his veins. He's playing spectacularly tonight at both ends.
He is at 7 of 9 from the floor. Ray Owens has 14.6 boards. Bryant Reeves stopped play. As he thought Fuller fouled him, no call. Mullen's open on the right side. And Sprewell elects not to give it to him. They'll work some clock.
That's a lot of court to throw across. Just waiting for an interception. How about Ray Owens back the ball up? He could have taken a shot.
Offensive foul on Todd Fuller here. Fuller stayed out of foul trouble tonight. It's only his second of the game, and he's played 36 minutes.
I thought Mark Price moved a little quickly to the position that he wanted to go to. Fuller had not set up. You can see it right here. Yeah, see, Fuller was just coming out to set up, and Price was already moving, so it actually put him in jeopardy.
Fuller was fronting, now playing behind Brian Reeves. Brian Reeves, nearly an air ball.
Good defense and a good seal for a defensive rebound. Now you play a little bit of the clock, too.
Approaching the 3-minute mark. Warriors lead by 4. Mullen is double teamed. Shot clock at 5. Sprewell has to fling. What a shot by Sprewell there.
That was a slingshot from about 24 feet.
Gives the Warriors a 7-point lead with 2:45 to play. Mullen stumbling back, leaves Peeler open. Lynch. Here's a Blue Edwards lane.
Big basket.
95-90.
Big basket for Vancouver.
Foul on George Lynch, bumping Mark Price. It'll be a non-shooting foul for Lynch, his second of the game.
Both coaches haven't sat down in a long time. Rick Allen right in the middle of your picture there. Coming past the coaches line up to half court, yelling instructions. Well, he knows how important this game is.
Sprewell lost the ball, dives to save, they jump all over him. What a play by Sprewell to get over Mullen, and Mullen gets fouled. By Brian Reeves. Looked like Mullen was not going to have any angle for a shot, but he is bailed out there. Nice composure by Latrell.
Oh, how about Sprewell goes down, doesn't come up. Now you got 2 guys on him. How did he ever come out with the ball under control? And Mullen just went again. He likes to go underneath the rim, reverse layup, so that the defender can't get to it.
That's what I was talking about earlier. When Mullen scores 20 or more throughout his career, the Warriors at a 54% winning clip. Mullen, with that free throw, now has 24 points. Timeout called by Vancouver. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. The Warriors lead the Grizz by 7.
Chris Mullen picking the pocket of Abdur Rahim. Now watch B.J. Armstrong under control. Showed it to you before. But the Warriors so far have been able to stave off any rally, and that's the stat you were alluding to a few moments ago.
Mullen leads the Warriors in scoring, which is usually a very good sign. He has 24 tonight, 7 of 13 floor, 8 of 9 from the line. He also has 6 assists and 5 rebounds. Blue Edwards goes by Chris, and he's fouled. That one really hurt. Blue Edwards will go for a 3-point play, and he can pull Vancouver within 4 points.
Blue Edwards just found a seam and took it right to the teeth of the defense. He's always been a great leaper. Tough to stop. He just held on to the ball until he forced contact.
And that foul, Jim, was called on Ray O's. He now has 5. 1:50 to play. It is a 4-point game. Vancouver last year lost 33 games by 7 points or less, the most in the NBA. This is kind of a breakthrough moment for them early in year number 2. Price to Fuller. Oh, he scores, and he's fouled by Big Country Reeves. What a bucket by Fuller there. Tremendous contact, Jim, but he was able to stay upright enough to score.
It just shows his strength inside, and clearly this is the biggest basket up to this juncture for his career.
He got
coming
hit hard
at a very timely place in the game. 1:37 to go, puts the Warriors up by 6 and possibly 7. Can't convert, but the Warriors. Now Mark Price, he knows how to do it. Run the 24-second clock.
May even be better that he missed the free throw, depending on how this sequence goes.
Good point.
It'll put him on the line with 1:25 to play. Warriors up 99-93. You know, you and I were talking today, and we talked about Todd Fuller and what kind of numbers he needs to have to be a successful rookie. And we said, what, 11 points per game and 9 rebounds a game, right?
Now, let me guess. Let me look over at a stat sheet. What do you know? 11-9. Yeah, that's exactly. In fact, you came up with those numbers. We were on the same frequency, on the same page, and that's just about right. Especially sharing the duties with Felton Spencer. You know, Spencer's going to give you 6 to 8 rebounds a game probably in his minutes out there, and not double-digit scoring.
No, he's not a big-minute guy, Spencer. He'll play about 20 minutes a night, and throughout his career, Spencer has averaged fewer than 5 shots from the floor per game. That may change a bit here, not playing alongside a dominant player like Karl Malone.
Probably not, though.
Yeah, maybe not dramatically. Sprewell knocks down both. He has 20 points. Reeves gets inside for an easy one. Vancouver still hanging around here. It's a 6-point game with 70 seconds to go. Mark Price will use that clock like a quarterback.
He's directing traffic for Fuller. He wants him in a certain spot to run him off.
Mullen with 6. He avoids a turnover. Warriors keep the possession. Shot clock down to 6, and we have 54.5 seconds to play in the game.
This is one of the reasons that the brain trust of the Warriors acquired Mark Price in the offseason. Towards the end of the game, put the ball in his hands.
And let him shoot and get fouled. Either one you'll take, and you'll certainly take both.
Well, first of all, I really wasn't referring to his shooting all the time because he makes great decisions with the ball. But certainly he's a clutch shooter. Got 2 big people up in the air. It still was a tough shot. Now you'll see it from low angle here.
Boy, that's a hard shot for a right-handed shooter in the baseline.
Especially when you're leaning in and your feet were clipped from behind.
And he was right up against the angle of the backboard. He had no margin for miss.
And he's not going to miss this free throw.
Bryant Reeves is gone for the night. He fouls out. 17 points, 10 rebounds. And it looks like it'll be in a loss for Vancouver. Warriors up 104-95. Mullen pulls the miss. The Warriors with only 8 available bodies tonight. No Joe Smith, missing his first game in the NBA. A right ankle sprain. In fact, Joe has a very bad ankle sprain. He may not play Tuesday or Thursday against Portland and New York. And also, to make the trade, the Warriors needed to move some players to the injured list. Both Andrew DeClercq and Lou Rowe, who were available on Friday night, are now on the injured list.
But Andrew DeClercq, this is going to be a blessing for him. He had a bad ankle, and it had been hurting before. He only played 7 minutes the other night, and so this will give him a chance to heal up also. Unfortunate, but it's true. Your 2 power forwards, DeClercq and Joe Smith, are hobbling.
You won't see this very often. Todd Fuller, 3 of 7 from the free throw line.
And I know you know from baseball that would be 428, but now he makes it an even 500, 4 for 8.
It's pretty good. 3 for 7 to be a good day and a twilight doubleheader, huh? Timeout called by Vancouver. They're running out of time. They are down 10 points with less than 30 seconds to go. Here's our Fremont Ford player of the game, and for Chris Mullen, it will be history as he'll drain this 3 to put him over 15,000 points in his career. 4th leading scorer in Warrior history, and he has time to catch Wilt and become the all-time leading scorer.
Well, what I like tonight from Mullen is the 7 rebounds as well as the scoring. The 7 rebounds, very important.
Blue Edwards misses. That will probably give the game to the Warriors here.
Keep it in Price's hands. That's the guy you want to be on the line.
And in the last 15 seconds, Jim, let me point out to you, 3 for 7 is 420 now.
Yes,
as a batting.
Not 428. I could little slip there.
The Warriors are at 500 this early year. Tough loss against the Clips to open the year. They bounce back tonight, undermanned, but a lot of heart, and they get very good performances from Rayos, 14 points and 7 rebounds. Todd Fuller was also very solid with 22 points, or pardon me, 12 points and 9 rebounds. Chris Mullen leads all scorers tonight with 24. And Latrell Sprewell, his customary good overall game as he scored 20. Really, the way it went down, Jim, the Warriors got exactly what they needed from just about everybody to win this game.
You only have 8 available players. You need contributions off the bench. They got that in a big way. from Donyell Marshall, B.J. Armstrong. Bimbo Coles did what he had to do, but clearly Ray Owes did a tremendous job in his first start in an NBA career.
It all adds up to a 10-point Warrior victory tonight in Vancouver.